All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Auto Dealer Live. I'm David Villa.
And I'm Mikey Oquendo.
Today we have Evelyn Chatel, the general manager of West Kendall Toyota, and Stephen Jones, general manager of Rountree Moore Ford Lincoln. And today will be a great show. We're going to discuss the strike. We're going to discuss what dealers are doing right now, what's hot, how to move the needle. Mikey, it's going to be wonderful. I'm looking forward to this discussion.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
Check it out. Hey, I want to thank both of you guys for joining us today on this show. So I want to jump right into, Stephen, with you. What's going on now, the strike? But I don't want to talk about it from a standpoint of like an article or a headline. We all know what's going on. What I want to talk about is what dealers like you are doing to view this as an opportunity. Something that came up in some discussions yesterday with some dealer group that we were talking to. One of them brought up the fact I'd be interested. He's an import dealer. He said, I'd be interested to know what some of the movers and shakers are looking at. Are they looking at this as like, hey, this is, I can benefit from this shortage, so to speak. And did, last year possibly help you with the thought process? Or is this something that you're watching closely? Are you pivoting to used cars? And I wanted to kind of jump in and see how you are pivoting in this time frame to not miss a beat, and what you feel like the next 30, 40 days looks like for the car business.
Yeah. So first off, as far as our outlook, we could all agree that COVID changed our outlook of what may be bad could be turned for good, right? So first thing, obviously, as a dealer, we wanted to do to find out what plants are talking about the strikes, where are the model lines within that plant, where are they at in production, right? Mm-hmm. Right now, a big thing for us, like some of these plants are Ranger and Bronco plants. They're in between production right now. So if they were to, kind of what we were told, they could walk out for 3 months, but us as a dealer body would never really feel anything. There's already going to be a 3 to 4 month lag already. Mm-hmm. So kind of one of the big things you have is your employees, right? Your employees look to you as a leader. To find out, they already feel like their paycheck's been affected because of the increase in market has already dwindled. Mm-hmm. So they're already much tighter than they've been over the past couple of years. So they're looking to you to know that their paychecks are still going to be there. They're still going to have cars to sell. We're in a better spot. Ford Motor Company's in a much better spot as far as inventory than we've been over the past 4 years. So we've got a lot of inventory. Our pipeline's full, but because of that, we still look and rely heavily on our used car market.
Right.
Before COVID hit, we were a 1-to-1 store. We would sell one used to every new that we sold. During COVID, we become a 3-to-1. Wow. So we're selling 3 used cars to every one. And really, that has not come back. I mean, on a great new car month, we're still a 2.5-to-1, right? So nice. Our market has continued to stay geared towards the used car market, anyways. So if it did tighten up, we could still keep our employees. We could still keep our dealership afloat based on the strategy that we've already put in place from COVID.
So before we go to Evelyn too, so I want to kind of just circle back. I heard a lot of things, but one of the things I heard there, Stephen, and I happen to know you very well, and so I kind of know the answer to this, but I really heard it comes down to the leadership. It comes down to, I guess, really to the perspective or the narrative in which you're going to set. That's gonna set the culture, the tone, and the thinking of the people that work for you. We all know that you're not going to hear good news from any news source. You're never going to log on to the news source and be like, oh, hey, today someone rescued a cat from a tree. What a great thing. It's always going to be kind of like the thing that might grab the attention or also spark fear. So I hear that. Is that a good way to look at it? Like leadership, you're looking at, hey, let's find the silver lining here. Let's pivot and let's adjust and do what we need to do to to grow in this season.
Yeah, we're fortunate. Throughout COVID, we didn't lose many employees. We were able to retain pretty much 100% of our employees. So a lot of these employees that are with us now were with us then. So it's up to me as a leader to say, remember, we've been here before, right? We felt like we were about to get our teeth kicked in. And honestly, for all of us, it ended up being one of the best financial things that had ever happened to us. We wasn't prepared for it, and a lot of us got to work a lot less for a lot more money, right?
Yeah.
People have started to shift from that. So it's just my job to remind them, of the opportunities that we have in every situation that we have to face.
That's a great way to phrase it too, the opportunities, because that's what I'm hearing. It's like, as a leader, you're looking for the opportunity in every situation.
Right.
There's always going to be situations where the outcome or the circumstances are outside of our control. So it's up to us to figure out how do we roll with the punches and keep things going. And that's interesting too. The used vehicles, making sure you have good switch vehicles and making sure that you've got inventory no matter what, and you're operating on what you can control. So, but let's throw it over to Evelyn, because I want to hear your take on it as well as an import, as a Toyota dealer, how this whole situation is playing out for you.
Sure. I mean, very similar to the same things that Stephen talked about, but I think that what makes us dealers is that we can pivot quickly. I just remembered a story while I heard him talking. In 2008, we had just purchased, my husband and I had just purchased a Toyota dealership, and we had a Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram dealership also attached adjacent to the same property. And it was a really rundown store. The Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram side was really run down, carpeted walls. I mean,
oh man,
like literally we never even, we would say to each other as a joke, we bought a Toyota dealership and got a Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram dealership for free. And so we never even turned on the lights. We were selling Toyotas. Things were great. And then the tsunami hit, and we had to figure out another pivot, right? And so I walked into the Chrysler building. I joined a 20 group with amazing Chrysler Dodge Ram dealers. Inventory and product had just begun to change for them. And I found out that they were making a lot more gross than we were in the Toyota side. And we pivoted. We started selling Chryslers until we were able to have inventory for Toyotas. So I think as dealers, what makes us resilient is that we will always look for that pivot. Yeah. If there's no new cars, we're going to sell used cars. If there's no used cars and no new cars, we're going to make sure that we take care of retention and that our service departments are cranking, and that we're looking at hours per ROs, and we're looking at efficiency in the shop. And so I really think that is one of the things that right before we started, we were saying, in your intro, you were talking about you don't have to share all your secrets. But I don't think there are secrets in our business that make us any special. I think what makes us special is that we are resilient. We will always look at these things as opportunity, and how can we overcome it? And by being great leaders, by showing our people that, right? Yeah. That's what makes us different. And so this is just another pivot. I don't think the strike is going to hurt us as imports as much. I'm already running really tight inventories. Since COVID, Toyota, at least in Miami, has not recuperated all of our inventories. I mean, we used to have 1,000 new vehicles on the lot at all times.
Wow.
This morning we woke up with 60, and my GSM said to me, we have 60. We have a 6-day supply. We haven't had a 6-day supply in 2 years. And I said, yeah, isn't that crazy? We're going to have to figure out how to sell 60 cars. And so it's just different perspectives, and starting your day off every day, making sure that you as a leader are showing them, you're walking in really positive, even when you don't feel like it. You've got to walk in positive.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it, and I love that perspective, Evelyn. Looking at what's going on as well, and I'm as a marketer, I've often thought this, and I'll get your take on it, Stephen, and both of you guys can weigh in on this, but kind of to shift and follow the line of conversation. It seems like dealers, and because we talk to a lot of dealers. So you talk to dealers for a long period of time and you build relationships, and then there's some that you talk to for a short period of time and you never really do anything. But so we hear a lot from dealers. I think the maybe the perception for some, or for most, or for a lot, are that people, customers, if there's not a large amount of new car inventory, then they can't really market, or they can't really, I'm going to be limited on what I can sell. And I've found that also could be attached more so than we think to our thinking, Steve. And I think that, yes, if you give somebody a blatant choice and you hold a left and right and say, would you like a new or pre-owned? Who as a person would prefer to have something used versus brand new? I mean, let's look at our phones, look at a shirt, let's look at anything else. But if you don't ask that way, right? So if somebody wants a vehicle and you can present, if you can present something that has the options they want, that is an upgrade from what they have, that's something they can afford, I think that there's a different way to go into it, and it all starts with the thinking. And I think that I want you to maybe weigh in on that a little bit as well. That's maybe, because there's a lot of dealers that listen to this, and there's going to be, I'm amazed all the time by the comments of dealers that some of the simplest things we talk about, they're like, wow, that was really great. That really helped me. Yeah. And it's like, wow, you didn't know that. And so the thinking's a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, one thing we weren't doing is, I would say in, 2020, 21, 22, we wasn't training. We wasn't, probably providing the best customer service in the world because we were dealing the hands. I mean, we had a handful of trucks. If you want a truck, you like one of them, here's the price. We got used to that world, and that world slapped us upside the head pretty quick. And we had to start realizing that we have to be better and offer better customer service, have more information, have a better service department than the people down the street, because as people started getting inventory back, all of a sudden customers had options again. And it's up to us to make sure that we know the most about what we're selling, and to know all the different incentives that the dealership offers itself, not just as a manufacturer, but as a dealer. So, being very transparent. We've been fortunate. We're part of a large automotive group. So we can always look and see where the opportunity is. And you can buy into the media, you can do that. But when you look around and you see dealers are having success, we're able to look into those dealers and to see what they're doing right, to see what they're doing that maybe we're not doing, that we can copy and implement here at our dealership and begin to have success with it.
That's great. Something I'm thinking too, just listening to both of you as you were talking for the past few minutes, you're so emphasizing, and there's so much emphasis on opportunity and what you can do. And I think that's a really great outlook. But like David said, we talk to a lot of different people, and I think that not everyone shares that outlook. So my question is, and I'll go to Evelyn first, and I'm curious to get your perspective on this. What would you say if you had to give a couple of things, one or two things, to dealers out there that are listening that maybe they're coming from a different mindset. They're having a hard time viewing this situation as positive, and they're looking for the silver lining, but for whatever reason, maybe it's harder for them to find. What would you say to maybe offer them some advice to say, like, how you can be a better leader right now? I mean, I know we've already talked about it a little bit, but just maybe somebody knowing that somebody's maybe struggling with this, what would you offer to them?
I have to say, don't show up then. I'm sorry, but that's really the truth.
Get someone else.
Don't show up, because I build a team around me where I said to them, the day that I'm off, send me home. Like, send me home, because all I'm going to do is bring everybody else around me down, right? I'm not going to bring anything positive to the table. I'm not, and everybody's going to have those days. We all have those days. I think the key is that you have a core of people around you that will know and recognize that and say, hey, you need to go home today. And for me, the day that happened was one of my most successful leadership days, because I thought, if I've opened and welcomed the door for real growth, for real teamwork, for real leadership, for you to have, to send me home as an owner, as a dealer, as a general manager, then I've done a great job. And so I think it's recognizing your team and knowing when some people have to go and some people need that hand around them, or that walk down, around the dealership, or a pick me up, or a talk. It happens. It's natural. It's going to happen to all of us. We are not all every day in the right state of mind. And so having a good team that believes in each other and supports each other and is honest enough with each other to be able to do that, I think for me has been the key.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I think that's just the key. And I think I think this too shall pass. It's, when things were going really, really great and these guys were making more money than they have ever seen in their lives. I mean, I had salesmen making more money than surgeons. That's unheard of in this business, right? It's crazy. And so I said to them, I would spend my time in doing financial counseling. Like, listen, you need to put this away. This isn't going to be forever, because they didn't have the experience. And I have a lot of young people. And so they didn't have the experience, and they were going out and buying new cars and buying, designer this and designer that. And you had to pivot to change to become a financial advisor. You have to pivot to change sometimes to be a marriage counselor. You have to pivot to change sometimes to be a coach and say, you got this, you can do it. Work your daily planners, things are going to be okay. And I think that's the key.
That's good. And I hear I keep hearing leadership. It's we can't take that for granted. And I love it. I was going to say, I've been married 30 years. My wife is our CFO. We've run this business for 28 years by the grace of God, some hard work. And you know what's crazy? I don't know if anybody knows this, but they've seen me leave once in a blue moon, but my wife sent me home a few times. It's funny, but it's true. Like, she'll see me with stinking thinking, and she'll just say, she'll see me, or I just, kind of be short and bite someone's head off. And I'll go in her office. She goes, you know what? You probably should just leave. And she said, I really, really feel like it, and she's saying it. And the first couple of times I was like, what do you mean? But it really did help. And, I love that though. So really, instead of looking at it like, how many times have I been sent home? It's like, how can I make sure that, I get that stinking thinking out, right? Before I get here, because listen, if as goes the leader, as goes the ship, right? And, so thank you for that, Stephen. Give us, that's great. Some great closing words there, Evelyn. Stephen, give us a couple of minutes, some closing thoughts. The same thing. Like, what can you advise dealers listening right now? And there's just different dealers that are experiencing different things. There's a lot of small thinking. There's a lot of wrong thinking. There's a lot of like, woe is me, the sky is falling. But what can you give them as far as advice?
Well, I tell you, something that kind of made me realize where we're at. Well, we try not to talk about the strike and all that stuff. We're not talking about it in meetings here at the dealership, right? We deal with things and pivot, obviously, when they hit us between the eyes. But several of my guys come to me and they said, what are we going to do? And when I kept hearing the word we, I realized that I've done my job to where they know that we're in this together. And whatever we face, we're going to face it together. Whatever we get through, whatever we triumph, we're going to triumph together. So them knowing that, I tell you this, I put up a challenge for my team a few weekends ago. And I told them, I said, if we don't hit this objective that we set for our team, I said, we're going to meet here at 6:00 on Sunday morning, and we're going to run 3 miles. Whoever don't hit their goal that they set. And so we had a handful of them that didn't hit their goal. So me and my son came up here, and we were sitting here at 5:45 on a Sunday morning, and car after car after car started pulling in. Guys that blasted past their objectives showed up and said, hey, we're here to run. We're part of a team. We're going to do this. And all of us sat here. We ran 3 miles. We didn't stop. My son, I think he ran 4 miles running back through. He's much younger. But stuff like that just realizes, it's much bigger than just selling cars. Like Evelyn was talking about, we've got to train our people to be better people, so that they'll be better leaders one day. It's my ultimate goal for one of my guys to take my position one day. That's what you want to train them for. It may not be at this store, but it'll be at a store, right? So you like to take part and to be a part of that to make your people better.
Man, great stuff.
That's awesome.
Evelyn, Stephen, thank you so much for hanging with us. Great conversation. I think this is going to encourage a lot of people, because this is what's going to get us through anything. This is why this business, Evelyn said earlier, this business is resilient. And we, the good ones in this business have been through a lot, and we're calloused in a positive way. So just want to thank you guys for being here and encouraging and really dropping some great advice.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
For sure. Thank you.
for having us. Thank you for having us.
That was awesome. Well, thanks so much to Stephen and Evelyn. It was a great show. I hope you got something out of it, man. I thought that was just such a good conversation.
Yeah, I'm still.
Yeah.
I'm still taking notes over here.
Gonna have to watch it back, right?
It's one of those shows that you go, well, I didn't really learn anything like revelatory. Maybe I didn't get some kind of widget to use or whatever. But what you should do, this is what I was thinking about, is play it back for your team. Your people need to hear that. That thing that Steven said at the end about people running too.
That's really good.
The team showing up, those that beat the goal, hands down. It's really what makes winners, I think, win.
Yeah, most of the time it's not about the next widget anyway, I don't think. No. I think a lot of it's just...
You can have a widget and not know how to use it.
Yeah,
right?
Right? You got to have the leadership to use it, and that's what they were talking about.
Hands
so
down.
I'm sure you got something awesome out of that. Let us know what you think about it in the comments. Tell us if you want to talk about any other topics, and,
subscribe.
That's right. What do we got to do? We got to click that bell, because you got to know when the episodes come out, right? So you got to get notified. Click
Also,
the bell.
share this. If you don't mind, we have we get great audience, we got some great listeners, and it's taken off. But share it with a dealer, with an automotive salesperson, with a service advisor, with a dealer principal, somebody that you feel like would benefit from this. And if you're interested in being on the show, make sure you reach out to us as well. We are taking applications for guests as we speak.
That's right. Well, until next time, we can't wait to see you again. This is Auto Dealer Live.